Hello, everybody. Greetings from beautiful Pacific Northwest. Look at that out there. Isn't that just gorgeous? Okay, so I want to start off with about 10 years ago or so, I threw my back out pretty significantly. I was down for the count. Um, it was bad. The issue I was having at the time, though, is that my wife, my now ex-wife, worked. I was at home. I was taking care of the kids. I was taking care of the house. And I was doing my best to keep everything running smoothly. I did not have time to rest. I had no time to lie down. I did not have time to let my body recover. I needed to be ambulatory. I needed to care for the family. I needed to care for the kids. These were things that needed to get done. And needs must, unfortunately. And I'm bringing this up for a specific reason. Because ultimately, as always, this is primarily a Tai Chi channel. And what is Tai Chi in today's modern world but an exercise health system based on a martial art? It is a martial art that asks you to have your body in a very physically healthy way before it can be used as a fighting system. Which is why a lot of people don't think it works as a fighting system, because they try to go from like 5, 10, 20 lessons, maybe a year in, and immediately start trying to use it. And it doesn't work that way because you haven't trained your body, your tendons, your fascia. You haven't created those internal systems that make the counterintuitive parts of Tai Chi work. But at this point, I'm 10 years into my Tai Chi journey when I throw my back out, give or take. Also keep in mind that up until this point, I had been a casual dabbler. So 10 years is not an accurate representation of my skill, because I was not where somebody who had been practicing for 10 years should be. It's probably like a year and a half in, maybe 2, when you add everything up. But then you add in the fact that I used to be a massage therapist. I understand the body. I understand the muscles. So now I'm lying in bed. My low back is done for. My QLs, my quadratus lumborum, the low back muscle is splinting, which means it is tensed, trying to protect that injury. I cannot move my low back at all. But I still have to walk around. I still have to take care of the family. So I am forced to learn how to use my anterior muscles to move around space. At the front of the muscles, I'm talking about my psoas major. I'm talking about my abdominals. I'm talking about having to use muscles I've never used before to function, which is something that Tai Chi taught me how to do, because Tai Chi focuses on using your anterior muscles for ambulatory movement and for combat. That way, the muscles in your posterior, your back muscles, your QL, muscles like that, they don't get overtaxed and overworked in your daily life, because they're used when needed, which is important because your back muscles are much smaller and much weaker than your front muscles. So it's counterintuitive how we teach ourselves to move and walk, because we are forcing ourselves to use the smallest, weakest muscles to do the hardest jobs until we train ourselves otherwise. Martial arts works for this. Almost all martial arts will work for this, given time, given training, and giving instructors who know what they're doing. Which is honestly my biggest problem with the martial arts. It's so easy to become a con artist. It really is. Because unless somebody comes into the dojo and intentionally tries to beat up your sensei or your sifu or your instructor, you don't know if they're full of it or not. You only have what they say. Which is why, martial arts and con artists, man. Whoo! You know what? Let me know. Please, comment. Let me know what's your biggest con artist that you've encountered in the martial arts world, because I want to hear it. Because this stuff is just hilarious to me. All right, enough rambling. Back to the point. Because this is the point. I work a very physical job. I throw freight for a living. I'm 46 years old. My body is no longer 20. And over the last week, because we've been so short-handed, I have been working much harder than normal. And last night, around 3 a.m., when my body woke me up for my normal 3:50 a.m. constitutional, and if you're not 40s yet, you'll know what I mean when you are, I couldn't move. I could not even roll over. The pain was intense. I could not think. It hurt so much. Now, keep in mind, I have fantastic body mechanics from the massage therapy, from the martial arts. Anybody else, I think, would have probably thrown their back out halfway through my week. The fact that it took me 5 days of what I did, and all I did is probably a really intense muscle strain, is probably a selling point. Even though, like I said, oh, the pain. Meanwhile, it's Saturday. Saturday, 10 a.m., I train. Tai Chi, lightsabers. This is non-negotiable. Rain, snow, sunshine. And it's the sunshine I try to avoid the most. Look at me. Nope, not a fan of it. But this is a promise I made to myself because I'm trying to create a curriculum, because I want to teach. And part of that is showing up every week, regardless of how I feel, what I'd rather be doing, and what the weather looks like. I did my full hour of Tai Chi today. My back still hurts. I'm still in pain. But the Tai Chi did not hurt while I was doing it. My body did not hurt while I was doing the Tai Chi. It did not hurt while I was doing my lightsaber forms. It hurts now because I'm sitting down in the car and my psoas major is shortened and my QLs are stretched out, and I'm making this video now partially as a way to say, do your martial arts, get healthy, learn how to move in a different way, understand that being ambulatory can happen even when you think it can't. You just have to know how to train your body to do all that stuff. Now, like I said, 10 years ago, threw my back out. But that is where my Tai Chi and my martial arts opened up. That is where I stopped being a dabbler and started being a practitioner, when I realized just how powerful it was to relearn how we think about the world. And I'm making this video as a selling point to Tai Chi, and to say to people, yes, even if you don't view it as a martial art, even if you don't want to think of it as a martial art, because unfortunately it is. And I say unfortunately because this causes so many arguments in the Tai Chi world. So many. Like when I say to other Tai Chi practitioners, of course it's a martial art, I get actual arguments. Actual arguments. Other martial artists respect Tai Chi as a Tai Chi martial art more than Tai Chi people. Which is messed up, because most of the martial artists I know don't even recognize it as a martial art. I mean, until we have a conversation, or we have like maybe a quick demonstration, or, every now and then I've gone, oh, okay, you want to have a quick little thing? Like, try to punch me in the face. Let's have a little sparring match. At which point, they hit me, or I don't get hit, or whatever. But even when I lose, they recognize that skill was being shown, that there was an art to it. When I pressure test Tai Chi, not only do I prove to myself it's a martial art, but I get to prove to somebody else that it's legitimate. And I realize, especially amongst Tai Chi people, that sounds... I don't know, I guess I'm not as enlightened as other Tai Chi practitioners because, quite frankly, I still want people to respect me as an martial artist. And that's never going to happen if we just sit on the sidelines and do our forms in the park. I actually don't know where I'm going with this video. I'm ranting, mostly because I'm in pain. I wasn't while I was doing the art, and I think that's beautiful and amazing. And I want students. I want people to show up once a week and want to learn with me and let me teach them not only this beautiful martial art, but all the health benefits that come with it. It teaches you, it teaches your body how to move differently. It strengthens your tendons in a way that other martial arts don't. It creates fascial strength in a way that other martial arts don't. From my limited experience doing other martial arts. So yeah, this is what I want. I want to be able to teach this martial art. I want to be able to share this martial art. And ultimately, I want people to respect it as a martial art. And by contrast, respect me as a martial artist doing this martial art. All right. I'm Ginger Jesus. Be good to yourselves out there.